Hello and welcome to the WB Mason Coach Report with head women's lacrosse coach Shannon Smith. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, a one-on-one week, a win over William & Mary, and then a loss at James Madison. Let's start with the William & Mary victory, 10-9 overtime victory. Just give me your overall thoughts on the game.
I think it was a really exciting game for our team. I thought that defensively we played really well for, collectively for a full 60 minutes. And then offensively, we had a little bit of a slow start, but I think we picked it up in the second half when it mattered, and we started to play really well, started to move the ball quickly. But I think overall it was a great team win. We had a lot of players step up for us during that game, and I thought Lindsay Alfano played really well. Lindsay Scott played well. Maddie Fields had a big game for us in the cage. Carolyn Carrera stepped up on the draw controls. Jenna Budd stepped up for us running midfield with the injuries that we have. So overall, it was a great team win. I thought it was a great feeling for us to get that overtime win for the first conference game for such a young team that we have to get them that experience.
Yeah, you held William & Mary to 9 goals in the game. Although you did trail 9-5 with about 15 minutes to go, when did you feel the tide turn with that game-ending run? Like what clicked?
I think that the offense just really started to click at around like the 10-minute mark. We started to move the ball quickly, and I think the players realized that there was no other option if they wanted to, and they needed to go to the goal hard, and they needed to start playing well together. I think they settled down a little bit, and we started to run, a couple of dodging plays from up top, and I really think that opened it up for us with Carly Ancona, Drew Shapiro, and Lindsay Scott. I thought they did really well for us up top. And Morgan Knox really started with a great crease dodge that she had. So overall, it was exciting to see the offense step up for us when it was needed at the end of the game.
Very impressive goal by Morgan, the one you mentioned. About 5 minutes ago, you still trailed 9-7. Lindsay Scott comes up huge, as she has 41 times this season now. Scores 2 goals in the span of about 25 seconds to tie the game. You were able to nobody could score in the last 4 minutes. Was the start of overtime exactly as it looked? Win the draw, call timeout, or did you kind of go as a win?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think we had an opportunity to win the game in regulation. We missed an 8-meter shot. Actually, it was Lexi Lanahan, and you could see that she was a little shook up from that. But defensively, we had they held William & Mary for a full 2 minutes down there at the end of regulation with no shot, which allowed us to go into overtime, which I think was huge. I think it was a really confidence booster for the defense because that's an area that we've been struggling in. And in overtime, I think our main focus in our huddles where we have to win the draw control, and then when we get the ball over the fast breaks out there, we're going to go straight into a timeout and call a play. And Lindsay Alfano, as a senior, stepped up, had a great draw control for us, got the ball over, and then we gave the ball to Lindsay Scott, knowing that she was probably going to get an early slide or at least 2 people running at her, and exactly what happened. And when Lexi Lanahan stepped up big, I thought it was really great for her as a freshman being mentally tough like that, missing that 8-meter, and then coming in to step in, having a nice slip inside. Lindsay gave her a nice pass, and she was able to finish the shot. So I think that was huge for Lexi, and it was huge for the attack.
The weekend would then conclude at James Madison. You dropped a 20-8 decision. How difficult are these back-to-back weekends with 2 games in 3 days with how decimated you are by injuries right now?
It's really hard, to be honest. We've lost, like you said, we lost a lot of starters this season, and to go back Friday and Sundays, it's hard because we don't really have a lot of depth, especially on the defensive side in the midfield. So a lot of the kids are playing constantly, and I think that we hung in there again with JMU. We played well. The wheels fell off the bus in the last 11 minutes of that first half. The score went from 6-4 to 13-6, and offensively we just turned the ball over a lot. Defensively we weren't communicating, and we couldn't recover from that 11 minutes that we allowed them to go on that 7-goal run.
So many injuries right now. Is there 1 or 2 that are affecting more than, I don't know how many it is now at this point, season-ending injuries, but is there 1 or 2? Is it the Canto? Is it, who is it that's really affecting the depth more than anybody?
To be honest, I think, Becky Canto is a huge miss for us in the midfield, draw control-wise. She was having a great season. Shay McAvoy is another miss because she can play midfield and also on the defensive side of the field. That gives us more depth in the midfield. Right now we're missing Rachel Gregory, who used to start with us on defense. Tiana Prella on the attack side, that's another veteran leader. Audrey Bird on the defensive side. So we're missing quite a few players right now. And, some of our starters are currently banged up as well, playing through injuries. So it's just something we're going to have to continue to battle throughout the rest of the season. We're going to have to stay tough on it and be smart. And at the end of the day, it's about having more heart and wanting it more than the other team during the game day.
You mentioned her earlier, but Lindsay Alfano's really kind of been the unsung hero this season so far. She's doing a lot of little things, you don't really see her, getting a lot of the credit, but whether it's draw controls, ground balls, calls turnovers, can you talk about her efforts last week?
I think it's been Lindsay Alfano all year, and I think we're just seeing it more because Lindsay realizes it's her last year. It's April right now with a couple of games left, and she's really stepped up for us on the draw control, ground balls, on the defensive side of the field. And you can just see her heart out there. She really wants it. She plays with a lot of fire and passion, and hopefully it starts becoming contagious with the other players on the team. But you're right, she's one of those kids that can do it all. We put her on the attack when we need her. She plays in the midfield. She plays on the defensive side. So it's just something that we're going to, she's going to need to continue for us.
A pair of awards this week from the CAA, Player of the Week in Lindsay Scott and Rookie of the Week in Lexi Lanahan. Let's talk about them quickly.
Yeah, I think Lexi Lanahan gained a lot of confidence from this weekend, and hopefully she can continue to mature. I've seen a lot of growth in her play, and I'm really excited for her. It was a great way for her to step up against William & Mary for us. And Lindsay Scott, you said it earlier, she's been great for us all season. She's really hard to cover. She can cut, she can feed, she can dodge, and some of the things that she does, she just loves playing the game of lacrosse. She always has a smile on her face when she's out there on the field, and she's just excited to be playing, and it's been really fun to coach her this past year.
This weekend, Towson and Delaware visit James M. Short Stadium. Your thoughts going into the weekend and the keys to win against Towson, since that's the first game?
Yeah, Towson's really tough. They have a great defense, very disciplined, really buy into what they're doing, and we're going to need to have a team offense. We're going to really need to be able to show up. All 7 of us have to be ready. We have to be able to move the ball quickly. And they have some big threats offensively as well. So defensively, we need to communicate, and Towson's always a tough game. It's always fun playing Towson, and we're going to have to win the draw controls. I think having possession more on the offensive side of the field will really help us, and then we're going to have to finish our shots.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the W. Mason Coach Report with head women's lacrosse coach Shannon Smith.